Well, you know what time it is. It's Millennium County Railroad time. Ah, you gotta love it. I gotta kind of come up with something new one of these days. But anyway, this is going to be part two of the turnout wiring and controls. And of course, I'm your engineer and dispatcher, Jim Tedesco. So without too much further ado, we're going to get right on to it. So stay tuned. Alright, so it's been a while. But you know, that's the nature of this hobby. Everything takes forever. And I've been so busy with so many different things. I'm juggling too many different things. And but you know, I've kind of reprioritized and got things back in hopefully in a controllable situation, if whatever that means. But anyway, I did manage to wire up two of the turnout controllers, and I've got one LED setup working, so it does work, and I'm going to demonstrate it here in a minute. And I'm not going to drag this out because there's no point in it. I'll do a brief overview of what I did and how I did it. And like I said, it's a little off the wall. It's not probably common because there's different ways of doing things, but you know, mostly it's about money. I couldn't afford to buy all those tortoises switch controllers, which would have been nice. But I have 5, 10, I think I got like 13 or 14 turnouts on my layout. That's a lot of money. And not only that, but installing them would have been a total bear because I don't do well underneath the benches. You know, that's something, if there was a way I could have put them in before I laid the bench work down, that would have been different, but also very difficult to do. So, this is what I'm left with. And it works, but it works. It's a good system. It's reliable. And yeah, it's a little complicated, but what else is new? But it works, and that's the main thing. So, you know, if you guys can glean anything off it, that's fine. If you're thinking, oh, that guy's an idiot because he could have done it this way instead, well, that's fine too. But, you know, that's all about budget. I'd rather throw my money into actual train cars and engines than all this little penny stuff. I mean, I got a tiny bit of money tied up in this layout. Well, you guys know it. You got your layouts, and they're very expensive. So I really kind of prioritize where I want to put my money at. And, you know, I tend to go for the higher end train cars, not because I'm special or anything, but because their detail is great and they do operate better. That's why I like to scale trains. And, you know, just recently Jack had a bunch of tankers for sale, and I would have bought a couple of them or more, but he didn't give any information on them. I mean, it doesn't matter whether they're cheap or not. I want to know about them. You know, my question was, does it have steel wheel set or metal wheel sets? What couplers did it have? What brand were they? I mean, if they were Atlas or Bachmann, they were probably junk. And they come to find out, and I'm not ragging on Jack if you're watching this. I'm just saying that, you know, I would probably do the same had I had the opportunity. But you're trading in your junk for the scale train good tankers, which is what I want to get. And yeah, they're $40 or $45 a piece, but they're nice and they're well worth the money. And I'll take them. It may take me a couple of years to build up a fleet of them, and that's fine. But they're nice. I've got two of them already, and I'll tell you what, the detail on them and manufacturing of it is just superb. It really is. It's great. So, you know, and this is probably, you know, I'm not bragging or anything or ragging on anybody, but, you know, if you're selling something, you should probably throw some details out there, just because. I mean, some guys want to know what they're going to be buying, and other guys probably don't care, and that's fine, but someone like me, I'm not just going to buy something because it's cheap, you know, and a lot of times you get what you pay for, and, you know, there's a reason why you're selling that, and either you're upgrading or you're just unloading garbage or whatever. But you know, so And I'm sure I'm going to make a few people mad with this, but that's fine because you know what? That's the way it goes. Um, and like I said, everybody has their own taste and desires and whatever, and that's fine too. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying that if you want to sell me something, you've got to give me something more than just the price because the price isn't enough. Um, because you could buy garbage. It could be cheap, but it may be garbage. And I'll tell you what. After I get, I'll include it in this video because I want to do an operating coal unloader or coal loader and unloader actually. And I actually found on eBay a coal loading building, and it looked bigger in the picture. I mean, I should have, and it's my fault, and it's still a good deal, and I'm going to resell it because I have no use for it. It's tiny. I mean, it's HO scale, but there's the hopper, and there's big enough maybe to load one hopper, and that's it. And I'd like to be able to load at least 6, in a single op session. So I'm probably going to have to make and modify something that's much larger. So, um, but I'm saying, that's what this hobby's all about. It's all about realism and detail and fun. So, and for me, that's fun when I see something actually working. So I'm going to work on that some more. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. So let's take a look at these like turnout motor and LED setup. So let me reposition the camera. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I have to hold this because I can't get the tripod in there. This camera really does. It's terrible. But there's a turnout, and this is for the passenger rail. And you can see where the wire is right here. This is the micro switch. And we're pointed at the control panel now. Now I still I've got so much more to do, and I'm probably jumping ahead here, but that's okay. Now this up here represents the Amtrak terminal spur, which is where that controller is located for. And that's this one right here. So when I switch it over, it automatically changes the lights. So you switch it back. So it does actually work. It's kind of cool. Like I said, it's definitely different. It's not your conventional, well, maybe it was back in the day. Who knows, before they come with all these fancy slow motion switch machines and whatever. I don't know how they did it back in the day, but, that's how I'm doing it now. So, I also found out that with these PL10s or PL11, that even though they're rated at 16 volts, I'm pushing 30 through it to actually get it to switch properly because 16 volts it won't switch. And I found out that they have like a start capacitor that you can hook into them that for that second doubles the voltage. So I just went ahead and doubled the voltage as long as I'm quick on the trigger, so to speak. It won't burn up the switch motor. Now, if I were to hold that for a few seconds, it'd probably fry the coil in it. Not good. So that's unfortunately one of the setbacks, but if you know this, you should be okay with it. So right now it's set to roll onto the spur, and now it's back on the main line. So, and then I ran out of red LEDs, and I'm not worried about it, but I actually have, I don't know if I put red, yeah, I got a couple red LEDs for the spurs over here, or for the changes, and the green for the rest. So green will be considered normal except for the Amtrak track, and red will mean that there's, you're going to change onto a spur or change to a siding or what have you. So I'll get this all wired up in time, and I'm going to go ahead and I'll probably make some miniature letters for each designation. So this will be, turnout 1, turnout 2, turnout 3, turnout 4, and of course Amtrak turnout. And I'll have the corresponding letter or number below the switch as well, so you know which. I mean, I'll know what it is, but it'll just look more professional that way. So that's the plan for that. And basically, like I said, it's pretty simple the way I set this up. It's not exactly highly organized, but then why would it be? Let's lower down there. There we go. And we'll, oops, zoom out a little bit. So basically what you got here is all the negative or common parts, or common wires of the LEDs go into one big ground. It's all soldered together, which goes into this black ground wire here, which goes to the power supply. Pretty simple. Now, you've got a 3-wire wiring harness for the micro switch. And of course the hot would be considered the common, which is powered directly from the power supply. And then the white and the black represent normally open and normally closed, and you would set that up so, well, in this case, let's see, the normally open, which is when the track is on the main line, will energize this LED. Now if I switch over, it'll push on the trigger switch, and that'll be the normally closed position, and that will activate or energize the other LED to show that I'm on a turnout, or a spur or siding. Hope I'm not getting too confusing here. Like I said, it's pretty simple when you really get down to it. And of course, the hot wires or positive wires for the 2 LEDs will go directly into the common for the micro switch, which is red. So, and that's for each micro switch will have that hot wire. Now, also the hot powered wire, which is this one right here, will go to each one of the red wires for the micro switches, providing power for the determined normally open, normally closed. I already went over how we wired up the actual turnout motor. It's very similar. So anyway, it works, and that's all that counts. So that's all you really need to know. I picked up these micro switches, or trigger switches, or limit switches. They go by so many different names. Let me zoom in on that if I can. Weird, because these cameras work opposite of what you would think. This right here, this is your micro switch. I got 10 of them for, I think, $6 or $7 on eBay, and they're actually here in the States. You get them cheaper if you want to wait from them from China. And they're all from China anyway, but like I said, there's not much to them. They're very lightweight. And I bought these, and I also bought these big ones because I wasn't sure if the levers would be long enough for tight areas. The problem with these bigger ones is it takes a lot of pressure to activate them. So I might use them for something else. Maybe I could probably use them for a pressure switch under the track or something to activate a light or whatever. Who knows? I'll find some use for them at some point. But this is your best bet. They're very tiny. They're just a little bit smaller than a penny, and that's what they use for the diagram on eBay. You can find it, just type in limit switches or micro limit switches or mini limit switches, and this will come up along with several others. And you can get them either 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 or probably even 50 if you need them. They're a little tough to solder too. You got to be real careful with them. I ruined the first one. I put too much heat to it and melted it. But I was able to get the rest of them done. So But that's basically how this thing works. It's pretty, like I said, it's pretty simple. Oops. I'm getting sloppy here, ain't I? Once all this is done and closed up, you won't even know it. Lock this down again. And as I said earlier, this has its own power supply, the LEDs. These are 9-volt LEDs. I didn't have to put resistors on them. They're built into it already. They make 9-volt, they make 12-volt. These are 3mm. They're really pretty small. I've got some 5mm too, but I prefer the 3s. So anyway, but it works really good, and you know, I'm not complaining. So, and of course I have a separate power supply. The original power supply I've got for the Digitrax, and once again I tried to save a few bucks, so I bought a Chinese power supply. It's a big box. Let's see if I can zoom in on it over here. Yeah, there it is right there. It's right here. And let me turn that on a minute. It goes from 0 to, I think, 32 volts. And it just didn't have the amperage. It says it's 5 amps, but you know, Chinese, who knows. And I was having too many problems using this as a power supply, so I wound up actually using a laptop power supply, which are $18, 18 volts, excuse me, to power the Digitrax main box. And that works great. So I said, well, I don't know what to do with this other power supply now. So then I thought, well, wait a minute, I could use it for the turnouts. So that worked out pretty good. Let's see what else. That's about it for the moment. Like I said, this whole layout's going to be a wiring spaghetti nightmare, but I guess they all are when you get down to it. You know, all these wires hanging down under here. I don't know if you can see them or not. Yeah, there's some of them. They've all got to be tied up and, be tied up and pushed out of the way. So that'll be the last thing I do, but it's getting all that up where you can't see it. For right now, it doesn't matter because it's more about testing and making sure everything works right. And I'm going to show you another neat trick too. And I take 3 separate wires, and I don't know if you can see them or not. And I've got them all twisted together. And it's kind of a neat trick, and I learned this many, many, many years ago, wiring cars and stuff. And because if you get, especially these thin, these are, I think they're 22 gauge, maybe. Yeah, I think they're 20 or 22 gauge wires, and a solid wire, so they're kind of hard to work with. And when you take them off, well, this is what they look like when they're not. You know, they just come in like a wound up spool like this. There's no spool that they're on, and it's a disaster. And when you're trying to run the wires, they coil up. They won't stay uniform. So what I do is I take one end and clamp it to a table or desk or someplace with the 3 wires, and then the other end I stretch it. I've been doing like 20-foot lengths, and hook it to my drill. And you just pull it taut and wind her up. It's really cool. I could do a demonstration, I suppose, on a shorter piece because it's kind of a nuisance to do it on a long piece, but at least for filming points. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll include that in this video. So any of you guys that have problems with this type of wiring, that's how you fix it. Because there's other ways you could do it. You could tape it or use the plastic wire ties, but that's such a pain in the butt. This is perfect. And once you do that, you got a length of it, and then you just cut what you need. And that's how I've been doing, the switches and the LED micro switch wiring, and it makes it so much easier and more organized. rather than just having wires flying all over the place. And so it was just aggravating me that I had to play with these wires. So here's one on spool that I haven't opened yet. Oops, there we go. And but once you uncoil this, it just gets all over the place and it won't stay straight. So when you wind it up like that, it straightens up. And of course, like I said, I'm using 3-wire bundles or wiring harnesses, so it just worked. And you can do it with as many wires you want. If you want to put 20 wires in there, you just wind up 20 wires. And I don't know, I imagine the factory probably does something similar for, because they sell this wire like this. I never really thought about how it was done, but it just came to me and said, oh, I'm just going to do this. But this is something I said I've known for many years. I don't know, maybe I saw it somewhere, maybe somebody showed me, I really don't remember, or maybe it was my idea, who knows. But using the drill works great on it. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera for a minute and jump to something else momentarily, and then I'll set up for the wire and I'll go ahead and do a quick video on how it's done, and we'll go from there. So, stay tuned. Okay, this is kind of a quick jump, a little off topic, but not really. It's still train related. This is what I bought from eBay. And it's an operating coal loader, but it's way too small for what I want. Basically, I should probably get a train car so you can see, but a train car fits under there. It's got this piece here that was broke off when they sent it to me, but it goes here. I'll glue it back on. And then the train goes under here. Well, here's my problem. And that, of course, is, oops, I got parts falling off in there. The loader bin is tiny. It's basically not much bigger than what your HO open coal hopper can handle. So it's like, that's great if you just want to fill one hopper, but what if you got a line of them? I plan on having about 6 of them that I'd like to be able to load in succession. And you're not going to be able to do that with this. I mean, you'd load one, stop, fill it back up, load it. That's ridiculous. This thing looks so much bigger on eBay. It's nice. It's operational. It's pretty simple the way it works. You've got a coil. I don't know if you can really see that, but there's a coil motor in there, and it basically. Let's see, where's the knife? I don't have power to it, so I can't really operate it. But it basically opens and closes this door. And it does work. I tested it. But once again, it's strictly open and closed, and I want something that I can actually vary the amount that I want to drop. So I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in this or not. If you are, I'm going to put it up for sale, or maybe I'll probably put it on eBay. I don't know. But if anybody, I'll give a first come, first serve. And I'll fix all this stuff up. And, I paid $50 for it, and it was really overpriced for what it was. Because it's useless. For what I want, it won't work. But if you have a small layout, or even like an N-gauge layout, I don't know if you can use this on N-gauge or not, but maybe you could. But it would be perfect for that. And, maybe with some slight modifications or something. But like I said, and that's my fault, because I should have asked some questions before I bought it, like what's the capacity, how big is it actually? And there's a good lesson for everybody. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because otherwise this is what happens when you don't. So, hang on just a second. I got to pause for a second here. I have to keep this short because my camera battery is getting low. So anyway, if you're interested in this, I paid $50 for it. I'll take 30 plus shipping. Okay, shipping will probably be about $10. So for a grand total of $40, it's yours. I guarantee it to work. So you let me know what you want to do with that. Because otherwise, I'm just going to put it back on eBay and sell it on that and see what I can get out of it. I might be able to get more, but for you guys, I'll give you a break on it. Also, another thing I bought, and this is kind of, once again, a little bit off the subject, but not. I bought a U-Gears. Keep the box. I think I chucked the box, but this is a wooden working train assembly. It's pretty big. It'd be like the equivalent of an S scale or G scale. Probably G scale. And it's really cool. Oh, there's a picture of it right there. And you put it together. It's all wood. There's no glue or anything. It's all kind of press fit together. They're very difficult. There's, I can't remember how many pieces there were, but I think there's like 300 pieces. I paid $76 for this. Well, actually, my wife did. And and it works. It runs. It goes back and forth, and you can watch it work. And there's an idle circuit. And it has a little cold tender in the back that has operating doors and stuff. It's really neat. So, if you want something that's really cool and different, that would be something to buy for you train guys. So when I get it done, I'm going to build a little shelf for it in the train room and display it there, and I'll show it to you when it's done. Anyway, that's about all I got for today. So, let me swing back over here to my ugly mug. Who started that ugly mug thing anyway? Anyway, so that pretty much finishes the turnout thing for now. I mean, there might be a part 3 down the road, but it'll just be the finished product and a quick demonstration and show that it works, and it does. So anyway, if you guys have any questions, drop me a line. I'll answer as best as I can. And, help you out with the wiring, because I know some of y'all were interested in it. So with that being said, there's the line from Vinny. Keep it on the rails, and we'll see you again real soon. See you guys. Bye. Alright, so what I've got here is I got a quickie clamp. Got the 3 wires. Do an initial twist on them just to keep them together. Clamp them to a hard surface like my desk. I got the other end in the drill truck. So basically, what I do is, let me swing this around here. You can see all the wires are loose. Zoom out of it. So I pull it a little taut, not too much. And I just spin it. And I keep spinning until I feel like it's tight enough. There you go. Release it from the chuck. And from the thing, and I've got important not to do too much if you don't want to put knots in it. But basically, this is what we've got. We've got a nice threaded wire assembly that you can just clip off what you need. You got your 3 wires ready to go. I think it's pretty slick. You guys, you want to have some fun, try it. I know you all have drills, probably a clamp or 2. So give it a shot. You can't go wrong. It's the easiest way to do wiring, I think, when you're working with a harness of any sort. Whether it be 2 wires or 100 wires, you can do this. I like the small wires, good for the trains. A lot of the stuff, even lighting, you can use this stuff, which I do. You get it at the dollar store now. Dollar Tree has this. They have like 4 rolls in 2 different colors. But you can go online and get the 3 color rolls. The 2 color rolls are $1. Of course, what you could always do is, paint one of the wires on each end a different color to represent that color. And, I don't know, there's lots of different ways. Like I said, you could do it, label it, whatever. But I thought it was a pretty neat trick. It comes in handy. It's much easier to work with now. So, that's my tip of the day. So stay tuned on the video. I'm going to have a wiring diagram for the turnout controller and the LED micro switches or limit switches. So don't go away. Watch to the end of the video. See you in a second.